fiqh, khiyar, hak pembeli dan penjual. Dan siapakah tetamu yang bersama dengan saya yang akan memberi pencerahan? Saya kenalkan kepada anda semua. Tak perlu diperkenalkan lagi. Seorang yang subhanallah merupakan insan yang sentiasa aktif berceramah dan hebat dalam berniaga juga. Al-Fadhil Ustaz Radhi Rajab. Assalamualaikum Ustaz.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Alhamdulillah khair. Sihat. Ustaz, macam mana balik Kedah ke?
Bagi alhamdulillah balik.
Ya,
tapi lama agak kata balik.
Ya. Bisnes okey.
Kena balik ni selama satu dekat kena balik.
Bisnes okey Ustaz?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Itu dia. Banyak yang kita akan bicarakan tentang khiyar, hak pembeli dan penjual ni Ustaz.
Wa ahallallahu al-bay'a wa harrama ar-riba. Sikit je ayat dia.
Ya Allah.
Wa ahallallahu al-bay'.
Tak boleh panjang lagi.
Cukup tak tu. Cukup. Dia tengah-tengah sedap tu kena berhenti. Orang tutup pesan. Baik. Dan Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala telah pun menghalalkan jual beli, wa harrama riba, dan dia haramkan riba. Baik. Apabila kita bercakap tentang bab khiyar, jangan keliru pula, bukan khiyar timun tu. Ya, khiyar di sini ialah satu bahagian daripada fiqh muamalat, ya. Fiqh kita berurusan sesama insan, fiqh tentang jual beli, iaitu kita membicarakan tentang penyempurnaan keredaan dalam akad. Khiyar ni dia sebenarnya pilihan. Pilihan. Kita banyak pilihan kan, banyak pilihan. Dan orang terlupa sebenarnya khiyar ni datang satu solat. Nak memilih solat istikharah. Hatta nak memilih apa saja benda pun istikharah itu diharuskan, ya. Kita nak sebut juga di sini ialah definisi khiyar itu merupakan hak yang diberi kepada pihak-pihak. Pihak-pihak. Maksudnya banyak pihak mungkin. Lebih pada seorang, okey, mungkin dua, mungkin tripartite dan sebagainya. Apabila mereka nak luluskan akad yang dibuat ataupun tidak meluluskan akad yang dibuat. Akad ni apa dia? Satu ikatan persetujuan. Dan apapun dalam khiyar ini ada satu perkataan yang menyelesaikan banyak masalah. Apa dia? Nama saya lah Radhi. Radhi. Keredaan itu. Tujuan khiyar itu ialah untuk memastikan adanya keredaan, kerelaan hati kedua-dua belah pihak, iaitu al-bay'an. Penjual, pembeli. Pembeli, penjual, ya.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Izyan. Along with my teammates Syaza and Izzaty, we share a little knowledge or common understanding about khiyar, which is linguistically means choices. Put it simply, khiyar means the right of the parties to the contract to choose either to proceed with the contract or to void it due to the defect found in the subject matter, or the subject matter does not comply with the specifications and the terms of the contract. The purpose of the right of the khiyar is to protect the interests of both parties to the contract against fraud or risk such as uncertainty, which may lead to the losses and sufferings to the parties involved and harm their businesses in future. There are various types of khiyar according to the Muslim jurists, but in this video we will explain four most important khiyar, which are khiyar al-shart, al-majlis, al-aib, and al-ru'ya that often happens around us. Khiyar is an important matter in life, especially in purchasing something. As in hadith Prophet SAW, anta bil khayar bikulli sil'atin ibta'atha salat layal, which means you have the right to the khiyar to choose in every item you buy for 3 nights, which is 3 days.
Next, I will explain about type of khiyar. First of all, khiyar al-shart is a right to seller or buyer whether to proceed or void the contract within one specific time. According to Shafi'i and Hanafi scholar, the duration of time is within 3 days or less than that. The both parties must have consent regarding the duration of time. Next, khiyar al-aib is a right to the buyer whether to proceed or void the contract due to existence of flaw to the subject matter. Prophet Muhammad SAW said, Muslims are brothers, and it is not permissible for a Muslim to sell a thing containing defective element to his fellow brothers unless he has explained it to it. Next is Khiyar al-Ru'ya, which is the right for the buyer to void the contract with condition neither he has not seen the subject matter during the contract or before entering the contract that involve the possibility of the change to the subject matter. Lastly, Khiyar al-Masjid refer to the right for both parties to enter or void the contract as long as they are in place of the ceremony. When both of the parties have departed from the ceremony, then the right of Khiyar will be lost and no other change can be made. Furthermore, there are few issues that are related to Khiyar that often happens nowadays. The first one is issue of transaction in supermarket. Most related issue is about the quality warranty of the goods. When a buyer wants to purchase a can of milk and he has done the payment, he's found out that the condition of the milk is not good, even though the expiry date shows it was still consumable. The consumer have the right to claim for their loss due to the flaws of the product. However, most of supermarkets ignore their claims and put the blame on consumer side for not being careful when purchasing products. Other than that, the right of Khiyar in sale and purchase of houses. In short, transaction of houses with principal al-bayn bitaman al-jil means the bank will purchase the house with a specific price from the developer and sell it to the customer with a price that include profit, and the customer will make payment with a certain period of installment. The issue that often occur related to house transaction is when there happens to be damage. This is because the contract of housing transaction is between involve the bank and the purchaser and does not involve the developer. This is due to the fact that the bank has gained the full ownership to the houses, and issue related to this case is which party should be responsible for the damage of the house.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. My name is Khairunnisa binti Muhammad Saifuddin, and I will explain the solution of issues in here. First and foremost, for the issue of transaction in the supermarket stated by our friend Syaza, the concept of Khiyar al-Aib is a way that guarantees the rights of consumers in transaction. The defects that exist have clearly decreased the market value of the goods. It is a common method that duplicity and deception cannot exist in transactions, which can guarantee the security of the transaction. It is best to bear in mind that Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala prohibition as told in Surah An-Nisa verse 29 states the prohibition of taking money illegally and the command that mankind carry out business with the consent of both parties. For the second issue, which is the issue of the sale and purchase of houses that are related to house transaction. Based on the rules of Khiyar al-Aib, the bank as the seller should be responsible for the damage of the house. The right of the purchaser has indirectly been preserved in Consumer Protection Act 1999 in the section 68(1), which is where goods are supplied to consumer, there shall be implied a guarantee that the goods are of acceptable quality. Where any damage is caused wholly or partly by a defect in a product, the following persons shall be liable for the damage. The purchaser has the right of Khiyar whether to cancel the contract of transaction or claim their loss from the bank. The concept of Khiyar, such as Khiyar al-Shar, Khiyar al-Ru'ah, Khiyar al-Majlis, and Khiyar al-Aib, prove that Islam has provided the best solution to ensure the welfare of human life in every aspect. In the present time, the enforcement of laws in transaction contracts needs to be broadened and referred to the laws of contract. The purpose of optimizing give benefits to both parties in transactions. Maqasid Ash-Shari'ah needs to be applied to ensure the welfare for consumers and sellers to actualize justice among mankind that is important to be preserved in Sharia. That's all about here. Thank you.
Pusat Zakat Melaka, PZM, was established in 1996. Before the establishment of PZM, all matters related to zakat were managed by the Wakaf, Zakat and Baitul Mal Board. The scope of work focused on managing and distributing based on administration of Islamic law enactment. After its name was changed to Pusat Zakat Melaka, it ensured the seriousness of MAIM in future improving the zakat management system professionally. PZM is taking steps as a body responsible for ensure the zakat collection system that has been maintained in more efficient. And every Muslim individual is also given exposure, knowledge and awareness on the demand of fulfill the zakat obligation, which is the absolute obligation of every Muslim who is able and qualified. The objectives emphasized in the Pusat Zakat Melaka are as follows. First, encourage and mobilize the Muslim community toward the improvement of knowledge and excellent practice in accordance with the purpose of creating viable, moral and ambitious society based on Islamic law. Second, to make Baitul Mal as an organisation that unite the Ummah and a reference for the Muslim community and the problem that arise. Third, to build unity among multiracial, multi-ethnic, multi-religious and multi-cultural community through effective and rigorous da'wah. Fourth, to develop Baitul Mal to strengthen the economy in careful, planned and careful manner in a field of investment, construction and business that does not have conflict with Islamic law. And five, build and develop zakat institution for a benefit of Muslim community. The issue that's often discussed in Pusat Zakat Melaka is the problem of distribution and collection. Pusat Zakat Melaka found that there was a surplus of zakat fund that were not channeled, where the ratio between the collection exceed the distribution of zakat that was channeled. This is because the zakat paid by the institution of Pusat Zakat Melaka is done at the end of each year. This results in amount of distribution may be smaller than the actual amount collected each year. In addition, Pusat Zakat Melaka allocates its zakat fund to 7 groups of asnaf only, compared to 8 that have been prescribed by Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Therefore, a review of meaning of asnaf ar-rikab should be conducted so those who should receive zakat and are under the group of asnaf ar-rikab do not drop out in receive zakat and help them to improve the standard of living of this asnaf. Lastly, in Melaka, there are still have people who do not understand the meaning and definition of asnaf zakat fakir and miskin. Some of them consider groups such as single mom, the elderly and the disabled people to be eligible for zakat. So, Pusat Zakat Melaka and Baitul Mal must be sincere in ensuring that the fund channel meet the set of criteria.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nuramira Wahida with Zulkifly. Today I'm going to explain about further in concept of zakat, types of zakat and also the recipients of the zakat. Zakat is the religious obligation in order for all Muslims who meet the necessary or the criteria to donate a certain portions of their wealth each year to the charitable causes. And zakat we known as the purifying yearly earning that over and above what is required to provide the essentials need of a person of the family. Furthermore, zakat is based on the income and the value of the possession. The common minimum amount for those who are qualified to pay zakat is 2.5% or 1/40 of a Muslim total savings and wealth. Lastly, if the personal wealth are below from the nisab, they are not responsible to pay zakat. In Surah An-Nur, in verse 56, this is the dalil for Muslims for pay zakat. Zakat, we have two types of zakat, which is zakat fitrah and zakat al-mal. Zakat fitrah is zakat and obligatory for all Muslims to pay required in the end of the Ramadan. By the zakat fitrah, every Muslim were responsible to pay zakat, whether they are young or whether they are old, or whenever they are males or females. The purpose of the zakat fitrah is to provide a poor person who can celebrate Eid al-Fitr with along for the rest of the Muslims in this world. For zakat al-mal is zakat that based on the reliable property of Muslim that are exceed the limit which known as the nisab. There are few types of zakat al-mal, for example, gold, silver, income, saving, investment, agriculture, business, and others. Lastly, there are 8 recipients of zakat. Number 1 is the poor, which known as the fukara. Number 2, the needy or the miskin. Number 3, administrators of zakat, amilina alayha. Number 4, reconciliations of hearts, which is known as mu'allaf. Number 5, for those who are in bondage, were known as ariqa. Number 6, those in debt were also known as al-gharimin. Number 7, in the way of Allah, fi sabilillah. Lastly, the wayfarer were known as Ibn Sabil.
Pusat Zakat Negeri Sembilan, PZNS, wholly owned subsidiary of the Negeri Sembilan Islamic Religious Council. It is established on 29th of September 1998. Aims to improve the management of method of zakat collection in Negeri Sembilan. PZNS became fully operational in 2000. Establishment of PZNS has 5. First is using computerized technology in the collection of zakat. Second, put customers and service first. Third, provide Muslim corporate management structure and methods. Fourth, involvement of skilled staff from various graduates. And lastly is with the concept of united Amir under one zakat management. There are 5 methods of payment or collection of zakat. Majlis Agama Islam Negeri Sembilan, MAINS, has provided several alternative ways to pay zakat in Negeri Sembilan. You can pay Negeri Sembilan zakat online through internet banking, JomPay, monthly salary deduction, PB Mines counter, and credit or debit card. With the concept of a high income country, there is definitely a gap. Poverty is not entirely avoidable, and the issue of zakat distribution is not to the Asnaf group to be one of the reasons for the problem. Pusat Zakat Negeri Sembilan was selected as the study state based on the changes to the issue of distribution of zakat. Distribution of zakat in Negeri Sembilan before reaching the era of the 20s very less encouraging until it arose the issue that the distribution of zakat is allegedly slow, even in certain cases has not reached the target group. However, based on the reading in the 2013 annual bulletin published by MAINS, which ratio to the Asnaf group have exceeded 20% started in 2005 and has reached 100% in 2013 to become the starting point of the change in the determination of the policy to its distribution pattern for ensure that the goal of MAINS are achieved successfully. With the achievement most recently, it has prompted the study and analysis with more detail how the distribution pattern changes are practiced by MAINS and what emphasis is given to ensure distribution which is especially and effectively implemented without hesitation by the parties pay zakat and recipients of zakat. The distribution of zakat in Negeri Sembilan is seen to still comply with the rules that have been set in the Quran and Hadith. The distribution of zakat funds still focuses on the 8 asnaf that has been prescribed in Islam. Finally, Pusat Zakat Negeri Sembilan are the zakat institution that play a major role in the collection and distribution of zakat funds by ensuring that the objective and policies that have been set can be achieved effectively.